Today I want to try and tackle a topic that's really been hard for me to tackle, to be honest, which is why I've been off the neck trying to put it together, because it's a major topic and it covers gang stalking and chosen ones and trafficking, and people don't really put them all together. And so what I'm seeing is people, oh yeah, if you're gang stalked, you're a chosen one. And the thing is, you'd go chosen by who? So I got a few little cards because I need to try and stick to the structure, and I need to not get riled up. So yeah, we're saying that chosen ones, yeah, there are chosen ones, but chosen by who is a different matter, because when it comes to programming, MK Ultra programming that they sort of pretend don't exist, but it does. It is that you're chosen, and you're chosen through bloodline, and they choose you through your genetic skills, which I'll get into. And then the gang stalking side of things that they don't sort of join with it is done because if the MK Ultra slave is not following the rules, they need to be brought back in and reprogrammed, and so I'll get to it, right? So yeah, when it comes to programming, many people are programmed. It's not like, oh, just the celebrities that you see there and got a twitchy eye or whatever. Many people are programming. It's done on a mass scale, and it's been done for a long while, which I've done videos on. But it's very hidden, like all the sort of Epstein stuff. It's like it's elite covered, so no one can really touch it. I'm touching it here, I'm covering it because it's not getting covered in the ways of joining these dots, but I'll probably be hidden. I won't get thousands and thousands of views, but someone's got to bring it to the front and stop talking about, oh yeah, you're chosen, you are chosen, and you are programmed. And when it comes to programming, they will develop those skills in you. They won't, like I as a child, I'm programmed, and I as a child, puzzles, being given all sorts of puzzles to think outside the box, because that was where I was meant to be. The problem is, yes, I'm still sort of their programmed slave, but I weren't meant to wake up. And because I weren't meant to wake up, I was meant to sort of just go along and mouth off and wouldn't really know the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But I did learn the whole truth, so that's why I get gang stalked and targeted. I wasn't before, but when I wouldn't go along with the rules, then I had to be put back in my place, or that's what they felt. So yes, it's the program. Many people are programmed the same, and the programming's done. I mean, it's been going on for thousands and thousands of years, because basically programming is done by traumatizing a child, a baby, to such an extent that they have to sort of switch off from that reality, from that truth. And they'll do it, they'll traumatize until you do switch off, because somebody, oh, I can't be programmed. No, you can, because if we traumatize you to the point of where you either die or switch off, you either die or switch off. So that was learned many years ago, and so when it comes to the elite, especially like bloodlines that you all know about, then they knew that. So if you've got to go to their rituals and all that and be part of that world, you don't need to know about that. So if they can create a separate part of you that goes to them things and don't know, then all better for you, innit? So that's how that sort of works. So there's this like hidden world, let's say, of like all the trafficking and all sort of wrongdoings that are hidden, and you are trained in the programming, or even in just the what we call cult, the family sort of bloodline cults, then that, which you'll hear about, or satanic ritual abuse and all that. And so when you're having to attend all that from very early, you learn to be in a different personality, so you don't have no memory of that. And so a lot of people attend these things and don't even know that they've ever done it, and there'll be no evidence. There won't be evidence, you know. The people, oh, proof. You won't. It's very hard to get proof, because these, you know, they've been doing it for years. They know how to cover it. They know how to remove the evidence if you do get any. So it's done by cults for a long time, and then what happened was the sort of wars were created to do mass like investigation, scientifically look at it, and that's what MK Ultra is where they scientifically studied it, studied all the people like in the prisoners of war and so forth. But it was going on before the war. So then they sort of select you on your skills and your gifts. So you can't really program someone that's not that intelligent. They've got to be intelligent to be programmed, and they're not worth, because it costs a lot of money to do. So yeah, they spend fortune. So I mean, people think, oh yeah, it's just for sex slaves. I don't think I'm a sex slave, especially not now. But they will rape and so forth people to try and put you in line, to traumatize you again. But it's not really, MK Ultra and that is not really just about sex slaves, because you can get prostitutes cheap. You don't need to do all this expensive stuff. Yes, many are used for like espionage and all that, so they might have to be like seduce the person and then they can do what they need to do. And so they will be trained in that, and also like I don't know, like a lot of the trauma is sort of sexual abuse for the child. So again, but it's not where the money's made. It's not. It's like MK Ultra is not about that. It's about spies and trafficking and so forth, and having your skills developed. So some people are maybe assassin if they've got like the strengths and so forth. It's no good if you haven't got the capabilities, and they want the best, so they train the best, they choose the best, and they train the best, and that's the chosen. But you won't necessarily know any of that. I mean, I never knew anything because it's all done very clever. Yes, many people are now like online saying, oh yeah, they recall, but it's all things that they recall, you know, being at a ritual, they recall going into space and all this nonsense. Well, it's not nonsense, but it's like, it's easier to swallow, isn't it, than the trafficking side of things, the children suffering side of things, the selling of children. And there's more money made selling children than arms and drugs. I mean, another side of it is drugs trafficking, and we traffic drugs for arms. But when it comes to child trafficking, human trafficking, that's more than drugs and arms put together, the money to be made. But it's a very hidden, and it's very hard to prove it's going on, because you're not going to get a voice. Like, I can tell you what's going on, but I don't get the voice. So many think, oh, if they recall, like they'll deprogram and people talk, oh, they remember this and they remember that, and then they somehow think that they're free and they're not being used no more. But I'm telling you, they are, and they don't like it. They get angry with me for saying that, because they've called on Jesus, and well, I'm Christian, I called on Jesus, but I still don't remember everything, and I still get used, right, without my consent. So what is different about them than me? But I'm not saying Jesus wouldn't help. I'm not saying any of that wouldn't help, because there is spiritual elements, but I'm saying no, the programming is done heavy duty. We've got reporting alters that are created, like each personality that they create is called an alter, and we've got ones that are there to report on us, to report on others. So if someone else is like remembering something and they tell you, oh yeah, I remember that, then you have to report, and you won't know you're reporting, you won't know who you're reporting to, but you will be reporting, because there will be a consequence if you don't report. And the consequences ain't that, oh, you won't get your pocket money this week. So when it comes to the programming, it's done very young to a child. I mean, for some it's done even in the womb, because they'll traumatise the child in the womb, the baby in the womb, so that they learn to disassociate, to cut off early. So it's like already creating that. But if they're not, if they're like, I don't know, selected later because it's not been done, then it is done probably by the age of 3. You ain't going to get past there, because the personality is forming and all this. So so the programming is done to the child, and they're creating the person for their adult, their whole life. They've planned your whole life. But I mean, if you, like, I was a specialist in working with crack cocaine, and yeah, every door was open for me, and I was good at it, and it was as if, oh, every door's open for you, because you're good and you're going to learn and and you need to learn, because I was a psychologist and so forth. So yeah, I did have all them doors open, but when I wouldn't play ball in 96, I think 96, 97, when we went European, and I didn't want to share data with health authorities on my clients, and I'd been allowed to do it however I wanted before that, and I was doing very well. But when they changed the policies, I couldn't go along with it, so I set up my own drug service. So then I was punished, and that's when I learned of all these things, or started to learn. But I was punished, and yeah, I ended up couldn't walk and couldn't do anything, because I was going against what their plans were for me. So then they would have to make new plans. So yeah, the plans are made from like very early, because they know what you're going to become. They know your personality. Like on my medical psychiatric assessments at age 18 months, right, which have disappeared from the medical files now, but they said, oh yeah, I had an IQ of 130 then, but they would do work to improve your IQ, and they said I had a facile temperament, and I had to look, facile personality, and I had to look it up, and that means easygoing, and I am easygoing, so that would make me a good person to be a counsellor, which is become. So they know the personality, they learn the person, they study you, and they create you accordingly to the plans for their agenda. When you go against the agenda, then you have to be put back in line. So they've planned the whole life. You're chosen with your DNA, your gifts, bloodline, what you're capable of, skills, and they'll develop them skills. Like I say, they gave me puzzles. I remember, like when I was 7, they wanted to put me in a reform school because I was out of control. They told my mum, a reform school or a psychiatrist. So my mum says, well, she can go to psychiatrist. So I went on the bus on my own, age 7. I don't remember, all I remember is doing IQ test, aptitude test. And I spoke to someone who understood programming, and they said, yeah, the test that I'm remembering doing was that weren't really important. What was important was they were programming me while I was there, and then after they would test me to see how did that improve my capabilities. And so that's what they were interested in. They weren't interested in my life and why I was misbehaving, and they made me, I believe, misbehave so that they could have an excuse to sling me out of the class and send me to the head, and so forth, another video. So yeah, you're chosen for them things that you've got. So I mean, they'll make you look thick. I was made to look thick. I couldn't spell, I couldn't do anything, but I could, obviously. But it's like, no, like in some of my authors, then I'm dyslexic. When I was at school, they'd give me, I couldn't spell, and they'd give you like lists of words to take home and learn, and then my mum would test me, and she was like a secretary, and I'd get them all perfect, and then I'd go back and do the test and fail and get them all wrong. And I wasn't deliberately getting them all wrong, it was a different personality at school, and she had to be a little bit thick, I suppose, so that I could feel inadequate and insecure and all them things, so that I wouldn't really be a problem for that way. But what I'm trying to say is, because they make the separate personalities, that like with the cult and the SRA or MK Ultra, they will make ones that are what we'd call night alters. So why you think you're sleeping at night, why the child for you think is sleeping at night, they're not. They're switching into a different alter, but the whole family, it's not like, oh, only me, it would have been my whole family, but they won't acknowledge it, because they won't be aware of it, and you train to deny it, and the whole society's set to deny it, and not like, where's the proof, where's the evidence? But people really know it, and it's like, it'll be a cue that everyone switches into a different personality at night if they're cued to. Also won't, and it won't be every night, but there will be night accessing, and they will take you either for programming, for training, because you're trained very young. When are they going to train you? You'll have, Svali, S-V-A-L-I, Svali, who, American woman who years ago spoke out about all this, and not many of them will speak about the night accessing. They all act like, oh, it don't happen. I don't know where they're at, but I ain't on that page. So Swali, like recently in the last couple of years, she spoke out against about the night accessing and how they train, because she was a trainer, but she got out, and she told her how they train the night alters. So like when you're asleep, there'll be alters, littles, they are littles, like they're only about 3, and they're trained by the trainer to, that when they hear a certain noise or a certain knock, to open the door at night. So when they're asleep, when that child is asleep and they're free, then when they're asleep, the other altar's listening out for that sound. And that altar is there, and I know, because mine did, because I recorded it all a few years back, and shit hit the fan. But I recorded my night time, and I heard them coming and accessing the little one who'd opened the door. And so it's like, it's very complex, but to escape it, to not open the door is really quite hard work. And I'm not going to tell you how to do that today, not because it's long. So what I want to try and make you aware of today is that it happens, and you may not have any awareness. I had no awareness that it was happening all my life, because you won't have awareness. Yeah, I had bruises on me, I had marks on me, but you will learn to excuse it. Why would you think, oh yeah, I must have woke up in the night and gone open the door and gone somewhere and suffered? No, you don't think that way. You're not trained to think that way. You're trained to dismiss it. So that is what you do. So what happens is there'll be a little altar in everyone who's programmed to open the door under a certain sound. And I learnt through recording what that sound was. Now, for me, but I think some things are universal and some things are not. But I know when I was running, trying to prevent them from accessing me, I went all the way to Scotland, Wales, but it didn't matter where I went. Always, when I recorded every night, and when I recorded, it'd always be the same sound. You also have the reporting altar that I told you of, and the reporting altar was on my side because I'd done things to make sure she was on my side, and therefore she wasn't opening the door, she weren't allowing it, she was monitoring it. So therefore I was able to record it and not respond to that sound, but I know the sound was the same all over. Now, what we're saying, so that's why, like, I made the videos last year of like putting the locks on, because you've got to have the locks, because if you haven't got your own control of your lock, if it's not a lock that you can like lock like a yow, that someone, if they've got a key, can come in, that's how most of them come in. And that's normally the way things are done, is the people who are involved in the trafficking will just come and open the door with a key. But if you've got a lock or you can use the locks that I have shown you, that you can, portable locks that you can stop them opening, then that's the first stage. But even that, I'm saying, if you're programmed, then you will open it anyway, because you will be told to open it, and you will do as you're told, because the 3-year-old's going to fear the consequence, the reporting order is going to fear the consequence, so there's a lot of fear involved. So when that's not sufficient, because you're opening the door, you need to get past the program. Now, the way past the program is, well, if you can recall and if you can communicate with that little that opens the door and all that, then all good for you. I wasn't able to. Some are, but some people don't know they're there. So if you don't know they're there. So my first thing is to say is, if you think there's a possibility, or even if you don't, right, record your sleep. Record while you sleep at night. And it won't be every day that they come. It won't be every day, because they can't use you every day. You've got sleep. So it might be only 2 or 3 days a week, right? It might be only one. It may be only on certain ritual days. If you're not being used, they call you a sleeper. But what I would suggest to you is just record through the night, right? Because if you are programmed and you were meant to open a door, you will have the reporting altar, and the reporting altar, I know, will turn that dictaphone or recording equipment off, and that will show to you when you wake up, oh, why is the equipment turned off? So that is a way by default of seeing, right, is someone coming at night or not? So if you recorded at night for a week, just play it through a speaker through the day, do you know what I mean? you would know, do you turn it off or not? So if you wake up in the morning and it's turned off, you know you turned it off because you best do, because you can't be recording them coming in your house. Now, I will do other videos, but I have to get past this one first, because I know I'm like opening a can of worms for the world now. Because that is how you can test. So, I mean, some people may not believe it, some people may think they are, and therefore it's a way of testing. Now, so I've done slowly, and I'm trying to follow my little cards that I've put out. So you determine the program by default. If the lock's not sufficient, then use a recorder. I mean, you can use dictaphones, you can use phones. If you use phones that have got sort of Wi-Fi or anything on it, but it's better to use the most simplest device. But if you use ones like that, then it's best not to ever go online with it, or not use it for anything else if you can, because the less that they know that you've got the equipment to record, I mean, me, they will intercept every piece of equipment I've got, and I have to jump hoops. But you won't have to, because to begin with, you can do it, because like I recorded them because they didn't know I was recording. But once they know you're recording, different game. So yeah, make sure it's a clean device. Use a dictaphone, and then find out. If you use a recorder, you determine if you're reporting. But as I say, once you're aware it's happening, you won't be able to just stop it. So it is like a bit of an iron blower as well, because then you realise, oh shit, what happens to me in the night when I think I'm sleeping and this is my life. So when it comes to the targeting and the gang stalking and the gaslighting, it's done to try and destabilise you. It's done to disturb your sleep, because they need you to lose your ability to critically think. They want you, if you're in a fear mode, fight or flight mode, you ain't thinking of all the options. You can't think outside the box. You just reacting. So that's why they do all that drama, is to try and destabilise you, so that you are not thinking clear, so you're stressed, and you won't be sleeping well, you won't be as healthy, and you might commit crimes out of distress. You might be like creating, they will do things to create, like people say, oh, they're trying to drive you mad, or they're trying to suicide you. They're not trying to suicide you, because if you're programmed, you cost a lot of money, so they don't really want you dead. They might be in a position sometimes where it's like, bring them in dead or alive, don't care, but bring them in. So therefore they need to bring you in. So whether they bring you into the prison or the psychiatric services, they need to bring you in. So if they can destabilise you and make you look unstable and mentally ill, they can justify bringing you in. So that is what it's all about, really. But people don't want that to be true, but that's what I believe. So it's to get you into a power state. And then when they bring you in, they can reprogram you. They can wipe your memory. If you've remembered things, they can program you again, like new sounds or whatever. So who's involved? Is I have to be careful. But it'd be like mobby people and you know, people are criminals. Because who's going to come and get you? Like, who's going to come and do all that running around for them? Who's going to do all the gang stalking? It's like, and a lot of the gang stalkers, I'd say, are paedophiles, nonces, because it's like, it's like if you're trafficking people and you're trafficking children, you better be a nonce, I suppose, because you may not, you'll say, no, wait a minute, that's wrong, wouldn't you? But if you are into that sort of shit, you won't say it's wrong, will you? You'll just do as you're told. So it'll probably become cheaper, probably a bag of weeds or something. And so, yeah, so on the bottom level, you'll have like your little criminals, petty criminals, but it's not petty, it's 9 years in prison for trafficking children, right? And then it's like it'd be run by bigger people, you know, mobby people, but then it's like, well, who does all the programming? That's all government level, right? And above. So then you've got police involved, and I know through my recordings that I could record, when I was recording them coming in the night, it'd be police, I could hear police walkie-talkies talking, and so I knew it was police involved. And but I think not always, and I think the police have got a certain noise, and the mob have got a certain noise, if I'm honest. And then the police will be like, I mean, not all police, but corrupt police, do you know what I mean, which is a few of them. So then the corrupt police will use corruptible people to do their dirty work, and then they will traffic you for the dirty military, because this goes right up, because it's like a lot of it's done in underground bases and places that not even meant to exist. So if it's done in an underground base, well, police don't. They do know how to go underground, and I know that because they take people underground and beat them. I've heard about it. But that's not. It's not. They ain't done all the programming. They might be part. Yes, they do disgusting things, and I won't go on it on here. But they do, because they'll see it as you need to do all this disgusting thing to a child to keep them traumatised so that they don't remember what's going on. But then in the military, then they've got underground bases, and that's where a lot of programs going on. And then once you're getting into military, then so the police think they're covered by the military, and then the military think they're covered dirty military. No, well, it gets all complicated, doesn't it? Because once it's like underground, it's like, no, they know you're there. But then that's sort of level we're talking black ops, and that's just sort of covered. And so that's why it's higher than MI5, MI6 and intelligence. And when it comes to black ops, whoopsie, when it comes to black ops, it ain't like, oh, I'm a British slave, right? No, if I belong to black ops, which I do, then, by default, then I will be a slave available to any country that's got the money. You'll be sold, you're auctioned as a person, and someone has to purchase you. And the more skilled and rare you are, the more they want to purchase you. So they have their auctions. I think they have them in San Francisco, but I could be wrong. Might have them everywhere. I don't know. But they have auctions, so big rich people will purchase you, and then like you'll be like a timeshare that they'll rent you out to whoever wants to purchase you, use you for whatever assignment they want. But that's why you can't prove it. That's why my records just disappear. It doesn't matter. And any evidence like where I had the recordings of the police, no, you ain't keeping that. It's a global network. Yeah, it's global. It's not British, not American, because a lot of all the videos are like American. No. It's global. They have programming. Because even when it comes to programming, the programming is done all over the world. Like different countries specialise in different aspects of programming. That's how it works. And there's underground systems, there's underground planes at night for trafficking. It doesn't matter what country, they'll take you there and bring you back, yeah? And you won't know that you've been to the other countries. So when it comes to you as the slave, then there will be someone that we'd call a handler, which is why everyone's handlers now. And people, oh no, I know my handler, and I got rid of him, he was a narcissist, or she was a narcissist. Well, no, it ain't like that. It ain't like, there is that element, but even if you don't have anyone in your life, you would still have a handler. And you won't necessarily know the handler, especially if you move areas. It's like, I don't know who's handling me here in Brighton. I don't know. Because as far as I'm concerned, no one, right? But obviously someone does, because there's evidence that someone does. So that handler will know some of your cues. They may not know all of your cues, because like you'll have different cues, different triggers that would bring forward alters. A bit like them pit pop, you know, them bits of plastic that kids have when they poke it, and it's a circle and it goes in and out. So it's like that, a bit like programming. It's like you've got all these personalities, and then they pop a bit, so dyslexic one, and autistic one, and ADHD one, and whatever they want one. Yeah, you have one of each. That's why it's that. Well, let's not go on the psychiatric side today, but yeah, so you'll have a handler, and you might have a couple of handlers, and you'll have a programmer. There'll be someone that knows your programming inside out, and they would stay with you from birth. But I mean, I think my first program was Ursula Shelley, which was she was like a top specialist in cerebral palsy when I was born in the 60s. Well, she's dead now. She died in the 90s, so she wouldn't be able to. But if she was still alive, she would be the one that they'd be like, right, Lou's not being very good. and she would know my programming. So you'll have a programmer and then you'll have handlers, because like if you're going to a different country or something, you'd have a different handler possibly, yeah. So I just wanted to talk about the night bit and the chosen and the join it with the gang stalking really. People in life may behave in manipulative power way, but it's not the same. I think I've covered it. Hallelujah. You don't know how long that took me to put together, but I've done it. So thank you for listening, and I hope that helped. Any questions, just ask them, and hopefully now I can get back in the swing, because this video was holding me back no end. I just was like, oh, I don't know what. Here's a big one to cover, seeing as no one else talks about it. Okay, wish you good luck for 2026. Bye everyone, bye.